And I saw all the other childcare owners, in my local area working from sunup to sundown. And I was just like, okay, I guess that's what you do. But then I quickly learned, I was like, but wait a minute, right? Because, when I go into Walmart, I don't see the CEO of Walmart in there stocking green beans and corn on the shelves. So I just got to looking. I was just like, no, no, this is not right. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Benz of AshleyBenz.com. I am the founder and creator of Childcare Business Executive Tools, and I get super excited when I am able to help the overworked childcare business owner remove yourself from the day-to-day operations, reduce your working hours, get you from a director role into a CEO role, and we do all this without reducing the quality of your center or program, okay? I promise you, you can run a profitable childcare business and work reasonable hours. So today, I'm gonna be sharing with you the best resources to help you remove yourself from those day-to-day operations. Now, before we jump into today's video, as always, go ahead and grab you your choice of beverage, something you can sip on, get comfortable, relax. We're gonna be spending about 15 to 20 minutes, and this is your time to invest in you as a CEO. So, but before we do that, I just have to say to all my new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited that you are here. I absolutely just love when I see you all, new subscribers come on. And so if you are watching and you have not subscribed, because I'm going to say this, okay, and anybody that knows me, y'all know I'm going to tell you like it is, but there are some of you all that has been watching, and you've probably been watching about 3, 4, maybe even 5 videos, and you have not hit that subscribe button. So I need for you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, okay? If you're interested in learning about how to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations, how to be a childcare business owner and work reasonable hours, then this is the place for you to be. As always, go ahead and hit that little bell so you're notified of when I post up new videos. All right, so what I want to talk to you first about, because I was just like, okay, I just don't want to start off with talking about the little free the resources that that you can and I want to really talk about first about the myth that is out there in regards to owners having to sacrifice their whole being, right, for their businesses to run. And I thought the same thing. And really, honestly, for me, it was just because that's what everybody else was doing. And I was just thinking, okay, this is how you're successful. I was new to the industry, wasn't new in regards to early childhood education, but I was a new business owner. And I saw all the other childcare owners, in my local area working from sunup to sundown. And I was just like, okay, I guess that's what you do. But then I quickly learned, I was like, but wait a minute, right? Because, when I go into Walmart, I don't see the CEO of Walmart in there stocking green beans and corn on the shelves. When I go into a Chick-fil-A, I don't see the owner of Chick-fil-A, asking me, how can I take your order and doing all those things, right? So I just got to looking. I was just like, no, this is not right. So there is a myth that says, I always have to be there. Okay. I have to be present, for the children that are enrolled in my center or program. I have to be present. The parents have to always see my face. Like, that is a myth. And literally it is something that you have trained your center, your preschool program, and your parents and staff. You've trained your people that way. Okay. You set that up that way, right? So what we got to do is number one, we got to reverse that thinking. We got to reframe that. And then we just got to make some changes. Okay, so the very first resource that you have to have in place, and listen, before I hop off anymore, you're going to hear me use the word system a lot, okay? And we're going to be talking about the difference between what you probably currently have in place versus what a system actually is. So the very first resource that you need is a staff support system. And this is what I always say. And this is kind of what I feel like for me was that kind of light bulb moment, or that aha moment, is when we found out we were pregnant with our daughter Nova, who is now getting ready to be 6. And I was just like, okay, there is no way I'm going to be able to go have this baby unless I am supported. And so, we understand that. Like we'll say that when it comes to the kids in the classroom, or things like that. We'll say, if that child is coming from a single family home, and we'll talk about the fact that they really need a support system, and all those good things. But then when it comes to ourselves, when it comes to us, it's like we just kind of throw that out the window. And no ma'am, no sir, okay, for any of the few men who might be watching this. But no, we cannot just throw that out the window. You need a support system. You need a staff support system. Now I'm going to give you a quick story real quick. And I was talking to an owner about a couple of weeks ago. And me and her were talking, and she was saying that she wanted to be removed from the day-to-day operations, and how could I help her? And so the very first question I asked her, I was like, okay, great. I said, do you have a staff support system in place? And I said, so basically, like, are you always having to be going to the classrooms, and are you always pulled in many different directions? Or do you have like enough staff to ensure there's enough coverage that doesn't involve you, meaning you don't have to go in the classrooms? And her answer was, no, but I'm getting ready to hire someone next week. Okay. So when I heard that, or actually read that, because we were DMing, I was just like, okay, that would be a no. Okay. And so there is a difference between having a system and hiring somebody next week. Okay. So a lot of the times we kind of think, and I was the same way, but I always thought that, okay, all I got to do is just hire in some people, and then everything is just going to kind of come together. But I quickly learned that hiring in people and getting somebody in next week is not a system. And what a system does versus that is that it is constantly recruiting for you, meaning you don't have to do the recruiting, but these candidates and the right kind of staff and the right kind of people that's going to fit your culture and what you're looking for is actually finding you. So that's the difference between a system, okay, versus hiring somebody in next week. But regardless of the fact, you're gonna have support. And so yes, you are gonna have to get a staff support system and quit just hiring in people if you want to be removed from the day-to-day operations and not be in this vicious cycle of where you are taking 2 steps forward, or 2 steps forward and then 1 step back, and you're not really getting anywhere. Because we all know what happens when we just hire in people and we don't have a system. Well, you hire in somebody, they could be there for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then it kind of fizzles out, and then they're not there anymore. And then you are consistently dealing with this high staff turnover rate, which we already know is already a part of this industry anyway. Okay. So the next resource that I am going to share with you, okay, is automation. Now, you all that have been following me here, y'all know that I am all about some automation any chance I can get, okay, when it comes to running a childcare business, okay? So I always love to describe automation as a recipe. And when I work with members inside of my membership program, I'm always telling them that, okay, basically what you have set up in your program or your center preschool program, your school, Montessori school, whatever that you have, whatever type of services that you offer, but what you have set up is literally recipes, okay? And the problem with those recipes is that you are one of the main ingredients that's needed, meaning that the only way that gets done properly is that you are involved in some way, form, or fashion. And what we need to do is we need to remove you from these recipes, and you need to replace in a new ingredient, and that new ingredient needs to be something that's going to be automated. okay, that does not require you. Now, there's different forms of automation, and I'm not going to get into that in this video. There's plenty other, if you guys go back and look at some of my automation playlists, you'll see some other videos about that. But that is the thing, okay? And so if you want to remove yourself from the day-to-day, then what we need to do is you need to remove yourself from all these recipes that you are involved in for your center program to run properly. And we need to replace that with some form of automation. Okay, so this last resource, knowing how to delegate remotely, okay? Knowing how to delegate remotely. Now, this is very powerful, okay? This is very powerful. And inside of my program, the Director to CEO Accelerator program, I teach what we call, it's called the 2-hour delegation session. And it is literally, you spend 2 hours every week and you delegate, but it's not so much of, it's how you do it. And there are obviously steps to delegation. If you want to actually get the proper results, then you have to effectively delegate. But here's the thing about delegating remotely is that when you are there and you're delegating, and I know with me personally, this is what happened to me a lot, but I would sometimes tend to, like, I'll be explaining how to do this or how to do that. And the next thing you know, like, my hands are in, and then I'm actually like doing it. And then by the time we get finished, they only have maybe 1 or 2 things to do. And then that project is done. And it's just, I think it's just our nature of teaching children. You know, we are hands-on teachers, and we also like for the, the student to be hands-on as well. And we like to dig in. But if you are trying to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations and trying to get into that CEO role and away from that director role, you're going to have to put your hands back here, and you're going to have to be more hands-off and let them be more hands-on, meaning your staff, your team, the people that's there. And the best way to do this is you need to do this away from the center. So whether you are at a coffee shop, a Starbucks, or at your home office, or wherever the case is there, if you can learn how to delegate remotely and spend, we call them the 2-hour delegation sessions, but sometimes they can be 2. It just depends on what works for each individual. But if you can do that remotely and spend a certain amount of time every week delegating, this is going to be one of the best things that you do for yourself, your center, and everybody involved, okay? And is a way to remove yourself from the day-to-day operation. Okay, you guys, so that is it for today's video. Now, if you are interested in getting my help to help you remove yourself from those day-to-day operations, then be sure to check out my Director to CEO Accelerator program. You can actually check it out by taking a free masterclass where I basically walk you through how I was able to remove myself for 8 consecutive weeks for maternity leave, and then that turned into removing myself from the day-to-day operations altogether. And so anyway, there's a free masterclass training that you can take, and also you'll be able to see the details of the program. All right, so in the comments below, I would love for you to tell me what is one of the resources that I mentioned today that you're going to try and use in your program, or what do you do? What are you doing to try to help yourself remove yourself from those day-to-day operations? Drop that in the comments down below. And if you do have any other questions or anything like that, be sure to drop those down below. I am always excited to be able to hear from you all and get to know more about what your goals are for your childcare business in relation to having a better work-life balance. So, all right, y'all, thank you so much for being here. Give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not done that. And be sure to hit the little bell so that you're notified of when I post up the next video. Until then, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. And I help the overworked. Sorry, y'all. Got some scratches. Oh, good. We're at 12 minutes and 48 seconds. Looper.